This lesson is the introduction to quadratics for Monday, December 1st, 2014. The first thing we talked about with quadratics was the standard form and how the highest degree for quadratics is x to the second power, or the second degree. We talked about how the number in front of x squared is a, the number in front of x is our b value, and the number all by itself is the constant is our c value. We also discussed how a can never be 0. If a is 0, x squared is eliminated, leaving us with just x, or the constant, being a linear equation. So a can never be 0. B can be 0, c can be 0, but a must always be a number other than 0. And from there we started also talking about the end behavior of our quadratics. When x squared is positive, we're going to have a rise to the left and a rise to the right. And as you can see in the general shape, the parabola rises to the left and rises to the right when x squared is positive. And as you can see, when a is positive, it's like a smiley face. When you're happy, you're positive. When the a value is negative, it's like a frowny face. So when a is negative, we have a fall to the left and a fall to the right. So when you write it in words, when you're describing your end behavior in words, you would say rise left, rise right when a is positive. When a is negative, you would describe the end behavior as fall left, fall right. Now if you had to sketch the graph, when a is positive, you'll draw the parabola, which is this U shape. You draw the parabola going up to the left, rising right. If you were asked to sketch the quadratic, you would draw the parabola falling left and falling right, as you see it here. And that is for when a is negative. When a is positive, it's going up. When a is negative, it goes down. The next thing we looked at in the lesson was the picture of the parabola. If you look at the parabola at its lowest point, in this case when a is positive, we call this the vertex. When a is negative, the vertex is located at the top. Now we can draw what's called an axis of symmetry, which goes through that vertex and it splits the parabola into two equal pieces. It splits the parabola in half. Now as we learned before, all vertical lines are a special case of which we just say x equals and then a number. This vertical line is called our axis of symmetry, or AOS. To find our axis of symmetry, or AOS, we can use a formula. And that formula is x equals, and that's for a vertical line, equals opposite of b over 2 times a. And just to remind you that the negative is going to be opposite, that b comes from the number in front of the x, and the a comes from the number, the value in front of x squared. So when it asks for a and b here, we're not putting in any x squareds or x's, we're putting in the number in front of x squared for a, and we're putting in only the number in front of x for the b. In our first example, to find that axis of symmetry, we have y equals 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. Our a value, the number in front of x squared, is 2. Our b value, the number in front of x, is negative 4. And our c value is positive 3. Now to find the AOS, or the axis of symmetry, we only need the a and b. So it's x equals opposite the b, so that's positive 4, over 2 times a, which is 2. So 4 over 2 times 2, 4. So 4 over 4 simplifies down to 1. My axis of symmetry, my vertical line, is going to be x equals 1. In our next example, we have a equals 7, b equals 5, c equals 273. If I plug it into my axis of symmetry equation, I have x equals opposite b, so opposite of b is negative 5 this time, over 2 times 7. So that's going to be negative 5 over 14. And since that is the simplest form that I can have that in, my value is going to be x equals negative 5/14. In our third example, we have the value in front of x squared for a being negative 7. Since there's no x's in this example, b is 0. And then my constant, negative 4 or minus 4, is negative 4. So when I plug this in my axis of symmetry equation, x equals opposite of b, so the opposite of 0 is just 0, over 2 times negative 7. Well, 0 divided by anything will always just be 0. So that vertical line, that axis of symmetry that goes through our parabola, will be x equals 0. For our last example, we have our a equaling 1/4, our b equaling negative 12, and my c, my constant, equaling 706. When I plug it into my axis of symmetry equation, I get opposite of b being 12 over 2 times my a, 1/4. So if I look at that, 2 times 1/4, that's going to be 1/2. And then 12 over 1/2 will be 24. So my vertical line, that axis of symmetry going through the parabola, would equal 24. Now if you struggle or if you have trouble dealing with fractions in the denominator, you can use your alpha y equals key and type in the numerator over denominator, 12 over the 2 parentheses 1 divided by 4 parentheses, and hit enter and you will get 24. Another way you can think about this is how many halves make up 12? Well, if I have 50-cent pieces, it's going to take 24 50-cent pieces to make up $12.